Let me see. Okay, now my next question is, by you being born and raised in France, you having an African father, do you experience racism? Do you experience discrimination? If you could talk about that a little bit.
Of course. France is a very, very racist country. Even if in France, this is kind of difficult to say that, because if you want to say that France is a racist country, you can have trouble. You can be in trouble for real. So it's kind of complicated here to talk about that. We can see there's actually some people trying to explain what is racism, and actually racism is not just only insulting a black person, for example. It can be also rejecting someone, or saying, oh, I can hear some African music, you have to dance on this music. This is the kind of racism that I experienced. To be perfectly honest, for a very long time, I didn't really realize that it was racism. This is actually the problem. Um, I was for since my childhood, I was how do you say that, categorized as a black person, but I didn't realize that, and it was kind of complicated to me, because as I said, I was born and raised in France. I didn't know anything about my culture, my Sara culture. I mean, so it was kind of complicated. But from my childhood, well, for example, I have something to say about that. When I was a child, so when I was in primary school, I think we can say like that, like around 9, 10 years old, people in my classroom were talking to me as the black sheep. They how would you say that? Yeah, this is the black sheep was my surname, basically. Thing like that. Or for example, uh, small sentences. People, when I would say that this is racist, people would say, but no, I'm not racist. Look, we are friends. And this type of very, very hypocrite people who just don't realize that they are completely racist. But it's kind of hard to make them realize that, okay, this is racist what you're saying. For example, because as you said, I'm half white, half black, and people were always consider me as a black person. And it was I was like, but my mom is white, so I'm both and everything. Well, was a long time ago. Now I'm considering myself as black, but anyway. And I was talking to a friend, and she told me, oh, but you're not that black, like that's okay. What? So it's like being too black is not good. And she didn't really realize that it was kind of problematic to say that. It's not just that I don't want to be black, it's just that I'm half of it, and I'm trying to deal with that. But anyway, so racism is everywhere. For example, my little sister, she was, how do you say that? There is a very, very hard insult in French that we can say to black people. I think this is kind of equivalent of coon in English. And it's very old. I mean, it was something that we can call like 50 years ago, and she was called like that when she was in high school, for example. So it's very hard. It's very hard, and it depends where you depends on the high school, depend on the family you were. But to me, it was more like how do you say that? Um, it was not like very concrete. It was not direct. It was an indirect racism, but I don't know if it's better or worse, but it's kind of difficult to face it.
Oh, okay, okay. Thank you for sharing that. I'm sure the viewers can, understand what you're saying because they can relate. A lot of times we think we are so different because, and say in America, for example, it could be a black person and another black person. If I speak English and they speak Spanish, we'll think we're from two totally different worlds. But
Hmm,
if we got a chance to conversate, we'll say, "Wow, you know what I'm saying? We have a lot in common than
sure.
would think." Um, so my next question is, okay, this is a general question. Maybe you have an answer, maybe you don't have one, but we studying African history. We learning about these great things. We learning about the culture. We learning about the history. what do you feel like is the next step? What is the solution, or what is an objective that Pan Africanists or Black people around the world that want to come together, that want to work together? How do we get to that next level?
I think it's starting very simple. For example, you meet someone in the street, as you said, like a Black American will meet a Black Brazilian, for example. Well, let's just considering ourselves as one. You know, when, for example, in France, it's kind of hard when when you walk into in the street. I would like that all the Black people, when they meet in the street, to say, okay, hi, just hi, just starting by that. This, I think this is better to start with very small things, but just to create that unity. Very, very simple things. I mean, of course, the ultimate aim is to have our country like independence, and Pan-African continent in Africa. This is the goal, but we know that it will take a lot of years. So let's just start simple. Let's just in our city, what can we do? Can we just join a group of Black people just trying to do things together, just trying to celebrate our history, sharing our history on all the different Instagram, YouTube, and anything. But I think it will be great, and this is what you're doing actually is pure Pan-Africanism, because I mean, I'm French, all my content is in French. You could just stay in the English content, even in the American content, but you just decided to invite me, which is actually great, because this is the first time for me. So this is this kind of little things which is actually great, because we're just uniting together, um, even if we don't have the same language, even if we are not coming from the same continent, but we are uniting us, sharing things, and just connecting. And we really have to enjoy the new technologies and everything. I mean, I don't know how many kilometers are actually dividing us, but we are actually talking together. I mean, this is incredible. So we really need to do that. We really need to enjoy all the different technologies, and connect and realize that we are one people, and every single day we need to do something to elevate us, and to prove that we are united.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, most definitely. You made some good points again. I mean, for the viewers, what I could say is this: like you said, take advantage of the internet and the technology. Don't be
Mhm,
afraid to reach out to your brothers and sisters from different countries, different parts of
mhm.
the world. A lot of people are bilingual or speak more than one language. So it's definitely worth it. You meet some amazing people, and then try to follow different pages. You'll learn some interesting information. Because we've done so much history and so much stuff is still being uncovered and released, and things like that. So let me see.